It is now 5:05, Thursday, June 28th, 2018, and I call to order this special meeting of the City Council of the City of Victorville. In the City Council sitting is the Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, successor agency to the Victorville Redevelopment Agency, the Victorville Joint Powers Financing Authority, the Victorville Water District, and the Victorville Housing Trust. May we have roll call, please?
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Ms. Gomez?
Good evening.
Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Negretti?
Here.
Mayor Garcia?
Here.
Mr. Kennedy's stuck in traffic.
I understand he'll be here just as soon as he can, but he will be here. May we have declaration of closed session items by our city attorney, please?
Thank you, Mayor Garcia. We have 3 items this evening. The first is pending litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. The case name is Wisdom Apparatus versus Lori Ajax, Chief of Bureau of Cannabis Control, and the case number is set forth on the agenda. Item B is anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2 and pursuant to Government Code 54956.9E1. Those we do not need to provide additional information at this time. Item C is anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D4, and that pertains to one potential case. At this time, I'd like to go into closed session just on item A right now, and then perhaps we can defer items B and C until after we have the discussion on the agenda items.
Thank you. We will do that. Okay, at this time, we will be going into closed session, and we will be back in just a few minutes. You don't have to leave. We will just take care of one item, and then we will be returning to resume our special meeting. So we will recess to our closed session. It is now 5:23, Thursday, June 28, 2018, and I call to order a special meeting of the City Council of the City of Victorville. And the City Council sitting is the Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistic Airport Authority, a successor agency to the Victorville Redevelopment Agency, the Victorville Joint Powers Financing Authority, the Victorville Water District, and the Victorville Housing Trust. May we have roll call, please?
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Ms. Gomez?
Present.
Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Negretti?
Here.
Mayor Garcia?
Here. May we have declaration of closed session item by our city attorney?
Thank you, Mayor Garcia. We went in only with respect to item A on the agenda, which is fully set forth, and at this point there is no reportable action with respect to that item.
Thank you. At this time, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and it will be led by Police Chief Rick Bassinger. So please stand. Madam Clerk, do we have any revisions to the agenda?
No, no revisions.
Thank you. So we will move on to our agenda item, which is Chalice California event at San Bernardino County Fairgrounds in Victorville. The recommendation is that any action is at the discretion of the City Council. At this time, do we have any questions by council members of staff? None? I do have like 30-some cards that have been submitted for speaking. Therefore, I would request that if you have a spokesperson that would like to represent a group that has the same item, or if everybody wants to speak individually, we will honor that. We're here just to accommodate, your presentation. And so if that's the case, I will limit each person to 1 minute. I'm sorry, that's all I can do. And I will start calling out the names.
Mayor Garcia, if I might, we did receive a letter that I'd like to read into the record as part of the proceedings. It's from the California Department of Food and Agriculture, and it's from their attorney, Christine Vanna, I think it is Vanna, V-A-N-A, staff counsel, and it's addressed to you, and it says, the Fairs and Exposition Branch of the California Department of Food and Agriculture Department and the 28th District Agricultural Association, DAA, commonly known as the San Bernardino County Fairgrounds, have encouraged the city of Victorville to place the cannabis event Chalice, California on the city council agenda. The city authorization of the event on the fairgrounds, which is within the city's discretion, is required before the Bureau of Cannabis Control will issue a temporary event license. The branch and the DAA appreciate that the city council voted unanimously on June 19th, 2018 to hold a special meeting on June 28th for the purpose of discussion and possible action regarding Chalice, California. However, the department recently learned of the Wisdom Apparatus, the organizer of the event, filed in the enclosed lawsuit Wisdom Apparatus versus Ajax et al. On June 19th against the Bureau and the city. As a result, because of the subject matter of the litigation concerns the fairgrounds, the branch and the DAA will not be presenting at the city council meeting scheduled for June 28th. There will be no participation from the state, as we do not convey any support for that litigation. So I want that to be part of the record, and I think you all have a copy of that.
Yes, we do. Thank you much. Madam Clerk, will you please read the public statement?
The City Council of the City of Victorville welcomes the public's participation in tonight's meeting. Persons who wish to address the council on a specific item or any item that does not appear on the agenda are requested to complete one of the white speaker cards located in the council chambers lobby and give it to the city clerk prior to the meeting. The mayor will call upon each individual who has submitted a speaker card. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, state law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. The council may receive testimony and set the matter to a subsequent meeting. Comments made during the public hearings, written communications, or public comment sections of the agenda are to be limited to 3 minutes per speaker or less as deemed necessary by the mayor. Communications are to be addressed directly to the City Council. Individual comments to staff or members of the audience are not permitted. Any person or group who interferes with the conduct of the City Council meeting by willfully interrupting or disrupting the meeting is subject to removal. A peace officer may be requested to assist with the removal should any person or group fail to comply with an order of removal by the council. Any person or group who resists removal by a peace officer is subject to arrest and prosecution pursuant to California Government Code 54957.9, Penal Code Section 403. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you. So I will start calling out the cards. And
Cards do you have?
well, I still have more coming. There's 30-some. Rich Kerr is the first person. After Rich Kerr will be Mark Fultz.
Council, thank you. First of all, let me tell you what an honor it is to stand in front of you. By no means, just by being the mayor of Adelanto, I'm not here in your backyard. I'm here just to thank you for taking a second look at this and third looking at this. I can stand up here and quote ABs all day long, but you've already read them all. And I want you to take consideration in your heart what's going on. There's a lot of jobs going to be lost out there, a lot of revenue going to be lost out there. And what I've learned in the last 4 years over in Adelanto, cannabis is not, I have 5 children, 10 grandchildren. Cannabis is not a gateway to harder drugs. The drug dealer is a gateway to harder drugs. So if we open this up as the state has and voted for it, for adult use. We started out with medical cannabis, and we're going over to the adult use. We've done a lot of research. We've talked with everybody that we can throughout the United States and up in Sacramento. So I would like you to just look at this, bring Chalice back to Victorville. Next year we'll fight about who gets them Adelanto or Victorville. But right now they need to go ahead and be in your city and provide the jobs and the food. They send food to the homeless after the event and everything else. They do a wonderful job over there. And no wrecks, no nothing like that. In-N-Out was out by 11 o'clock in the morning out of burgers, so it's a good thing for you guys, all right? Thank you for allowing me this time.
Thank you. Mark Faltz, and after Mark will be Jay. It looks like H-O-T-R-U-M or H-I-R-U-M something, Jay. Anyhow, he'll be after Mark. Is Mark here? No? Okay. Jay, is he here? Samantha Stevenson, and then after Samantha, Gilbert Vasquez. They here? I'm sorry? Yes. I believe this is you. Gilbert Vasquez, Jr.
How's it going? My name is Gilbert Vasquez. I'm the owner of Firehawk Protection EMS. We're the current local medical for the Fairgrounds of Victorville. Just wanted to let you guys know that as far as for a safety issue, Chalice brings a lot of safety to the event. As far as last year's call volume going through it, we didn't have no major issues. As far as the issues that we did have was heat-related issues. People that weren't coming there prepared for the event as far as the sun and obviously the elements of the weather overheating them. But as far as for the event itself, it was pretty safe, and we do staff with anywhere from 8 to 12 EMTs depending on the day and depending on how much people come through the gates. We have staffed 4 ambulances, and we have 4 mobile teams running around, 2 medical golf carts, and 2 people on the ground on each team that runs around. So I just wanted you guys to know, as far as medical, we've had no issues there last year as far as any drug-related issues. It was heat-related issues last year. Thank you.
Lisa Smith. Lisa Smith, and after Lisa, Junior, Matiookes. Lisa, oh, there she is.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Smith, and I was here just to show my support for Chalice. I was, again, there last year, and I saw no major events, and I hope that it happens again this year because it's going to give a lot of people jobs. And I'm just supporting Chalice, and I hope you guys do too. Thank you.
Could you refrain from clapping until we get everyone to speak? It will speed it up a little bit. Junior, Matiookes.
Hello, Mayor. How you doing? Thank you for having me speak. Council members, thank you for having me speak. I just need to know why this event is being rejected. This event has gone on 2 years prior without a hitch. It's brought a big economic stimulus to the area. Most of the people in here have jobs. I've witnessed, I've seen like shopping centers around here. I'm not from here, but I work with the producer of the event. It's a great event. Advocacy at the event, education at the event, entertainment at the event. Now, what I was going back to, I've witnessed a lot of homelessness. Now, this event is indirectly, I wouldn't say, nothing's going to take over homelessness. It's everywhere, but
Your time is up.
it's a great event. It benefits a lot of people in the area, a lot of homeless people.
Your time
I've
is
seen, I
up.
witnessed
I'm
myself.
sorry.
Thank you.
Chad,
Appreciate it.
Chad, Goodo, and then after Chad, Clayton Moore.
How you guys doing? My name's Chad. I work with the fairgrounds, and I just want to say that that event is very well ran. There's no safety issues that I can see as long as I've been there, and I just hope that you guys can make good decisions and keep it here. Brings a lot of money to the economy. Thank you.
Clayton Moore, after Clayton, Abbott, Goodos. I guess Clayton Moore is not here, so Abbott, Goodos. Not here either. John Nevens.
I am here. I didn't fill out a card, but I'll be happy to say a few words.
What's your name?
Abbott Quiros.
Well, somebody filled out a card for you. Anyone that filled out a card means that they want to speak. That's what they're for. So whoever advised you differently misled you, okay? Okay, so then John Evans is also not wanting to speak. You're just a food vendor.
No, John Evans is here with me,
So
so we'll both speak.
do you want to speak, or did you
Yes.
just? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I've been affiliated with Chalice for several years, even at the NOS Center back in San Bernardino, but I want you guys to think about something on a different area as to where I look at, okay? I'm one of the local vendors. Yes, I receive a lot of revenue from all areas around this whole area. However, I can move my entire operation straight over to Paris Fairgrounds. They are watching, they are waiting, and they're going to snap it up as soon as possible. That's what they're after, and what they don't take, the NOS Center is going to take. If you look at what your numbers are showing right now and you start forecasting those numbers into the future, you're going to be into the billions within a 10-year period. That's the way I look at it. And if you want to just continue on and keep backburnering everything and holding up the process and everything else, everybody suffers the losses all the way around. All your facilities and everything else don't have the tax revenues that they should have. And these places bring about a lot of revenues. Two places in Southern California,
Your
they're
time
going to
is
have
up.
these. Two places in Southern California will have these events here
Your time
in
is
Paris
up, sir.
Fairgrounds.
John Nevins, and then after John, Linda Quiros. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm not going to speak, but John Nevins is.
And you are,
My name is John Nevins.
okay.
Hi, good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you very much for holding this meeting. It means a lot to a lot of us. I am a food vendor. I do some events at the fairgrounds, and in the prior years, I have done the NOS event or the Chalice event and a couple of other events that were just like that at that same facility. Thinking back, this young man here was right with the with Firehawk. Is there hasn't been any major issues, and that I have seen, happen. I know that taking this event away it's not just going to hurt this local economy, but also the other vendors that go to these events to earn a living. I do this Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. I don't do anything else. I'm dedicated, and to have this disappear would be it would be horrible. So, thank you very much.
Dave Gross, and after Dave Gross, Ralph Padilla.
Good evening. My name is Dave Gross. I'm a business owner and a resident here of the High Desert. We've all talked about the safety issues of Chalice. Let me tell you about the economic impact. I do a lot of businesses up here, shopping centers, restaurants, gas stations, hotels. I talk to all my clients, and they've told me the same thing. If Chalice doesn't happen, we're going to lose a lot of revenue. Those extra costs that they want to put into their business, new landscaping, new irrigation, drought-tolerant plants, that's all going to go away because they won't be able to afford it. Everybody in the High Desert, from Barstow to Hesperia, from Lucerne to Adelanto, we're all looking forward to this economic boost, a shot in the arm. $1 is going to turn into $2 because every time somebody spends $1, they're going to spend $1 somewhere else. A really smart man just told me last night, he's one of the real estate brokers here in the High Desert. We had 7,000 building permits in 2007. We only had 700 in 2017 for the entire High Desert. We need this event to happen to put the money back into our economy. Thank you.
Ralph Padilla, after Ralph, Stephanie Romanello.
I'm a veteran, and I'm going to talk before I
Well,
get up there because they're going to hear me.
Well, get to the podium.
I don't take my meds. I depend on this event.
Oh, my
I
God.
depend on this event and other events like this to get my meds, so I don't go psycho on people like you guys, okay? I need my meds, and my meds come from people like this, okay? Not from the VA. I don't take my VA meds. Why? Because they were killing me, okay? I don't want to die, all right? I want to live, all right? I survived Vietnam. I'm a 60-year-old vet. I'm here. And these people help me stay alive so I don't kill somebody. They keep me sane, all right? I medicate all day long, every day. I smoke pot, yes. I do a lot of CBDs. I do a lot of RSO when I go to bed, all right? And it helps me. It keeps me sane. Thank you.
Stephanie Romanello, and then after Stephanie, Kathleen Lillard.
Hello, thank you for letting me be here. First, let me start out with, my mom is Denise Gregory. She's a councilwoman over at Riverside County. Now, the first thing that I'm going to say is that my mom said, this community of Riverside County needs this. Because the homeless problem that's going on in Riverside County right now is not only horrible, it's become an issue. And not only is my mom wanting me here, she couldn't speak to you guys because she is a councilwoman. So I'm here from Riverside County to let you guys know that we want this to become a better issue for here in Riverside County. Now, I'm a cancer patient. I do smoke, and if it wasn't for this event particularly, I wouldn't have been here. I was at stage 4 terminal cancer. And if it wasn't for Dougie, Chalice, and everybody that I met in this community, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today, just to speak. Now, I just would like you to take in consideration that your daughter could be standing right here in front of you, speaking to you, telling you, look, this is an issue, and maybe if we gave it a trial run for 1 year, maybe we can work this out, You can just see how it works for your guys' community as long as it will work for ours. Because Riverside County it's working for the homeless community. It really is. Every event that we do for Hippie Lounge or any of the other events
Your time is up.
We give out all of our food. I just want to let you guys know that, okay? Thank you.
Kathleen Lillard, and then after Kathleen, Thomas Lillard. Is Kathleen here?
No.
She's not going to speak. I just wanted to say that me as well, I've actually survived cancer as well, thanks to help from my mother and people like her. Cancer's, with chemotherapy and stuff like that, it puts a lot of people through stress and trauma. And cannabis and stuff like that really helps with that impact as well. So I just wanted to say this event would really help people like that. So thank you.
Elaine Nelson, and after Elaine, Chef Basil.
Good evening, Mayor Garcia and City Council members. Thank you for holding this special meeting for us. I come before you to speak in support of the Chalice event from the perspective of a High Desert small business owner. You have been provided with data on public safety and economic impact of the event on the City of Victorville that show the event is safe and provides millions of dollars into the economy. I have participated in Chalice as a food concessionaire for the past 2 years and can personally attest that the climate there is safe and calm, and that there is some economic value in the event. We chose to participate in the event in the past as a wise business move to build our business. The decision to participate in the event proved fruitful. As a result of profits earned at the 3-day Chalice Festival last year, we were able to purchase more equipment and expand our business, which ultimately resulted in us having to hire more employees. The equipment we purchased provided additional tax revenue to the City of Victorville as well as the state. We're looking forward to participating in Chalice again this year, and we're anticipating that profits will allow us to grow again and invest more into the local economy. On behalf of all small businesses slated to participate in this year's Chalice Festival, as well as those businesses in the community who will benefit from Chalice attendees, I ask you to take action tonight to provide the needed approvals to allow the full festival to take place. Thank you.
Thank you. Chef Basil, after him, Larry Baxter.
Good afternoon, City Council people. I'm Chef Basil, and I used to be homeless and a broken soldier. But I got an opportunity to clean my life up. I used to be on Vicodin when I was going to the dentist. I was in the bottom, rock bottom, strictly homeless. And I say that to you because now I was voted the #1 chef in the world this year, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if good people like here didn't give me the opportunity. And so I'm here today to, if I have to beg you, I will, to help and give them an opportunity, because a lot of the veterans, homeless veterans that we're going to be teaching and training how to cook, they're going to need to be a vendor. And we're going to help them do that. But without Chalice, there'll be no possible job, no possible training. So I just wish that you would give them an opportunity like this community gave me.
Larry Baxter, and after Larry, Bradley Donahoe.
Mayor Garcia, esteemed City Council members. My name is Larry Baxter. I'm a Vietnam veteran, a resident of the High Desert, and a member of the American Legion Post 229. Recently, the American Legion Post 229 was granted the opportunity to once again become the master food and beverage provider for the San Bernardino County Fairgrounds. This endeavor will allow us to generate additional revenue with which we can provide much-needed additional resources for our veterans. The agreement with the Fairgrounds allows for the Legion to provide both food and beverage services at the annual fair and at events throughout the year. The Legion generates money from the sales of either liquor, but also soda, food, Gatorade, water, events at the fairgrounds. We do not believe, per the current law, that the Legion will be able to sell alcohol at Chalice. It is also clear that the ability to sell other products, including soda, water, Gatorade, and food, at this 3-day event will bring much-needed revenue into our account and allow us to continue the work we do for the soldiers, veterans, and families in this area.
And then after Bradley, Bobby, I don't know, Bobby Branson, maybe?
Council, good evening. My name is Bradley Donahue. I am also a medically retired wounded combat veteran who was also dead in the hospital from pills. So with these other gentlemen here, that are still here because they were given an opportunity through a completely different alternative medicine, it would be a shame for you to turn away something that has been so beneficial to so many people that are giving you the freedom to make the choice to not have this here.
Bobby, it looks like Branson, and after Bobby, Devin Finson.
How you doing, council members and Mayor Garcia? I'm the commander at the American Legion Post 229. We not only have American Legion in Adelanto, we have American Legion in Apple Valley and Hesperia and Barstow that we work together and put this money out to our veterans. If you do not do Chalice, it's not going to put money to help our veterans and their activities that we provide for. We provide for the Barstow Home, which is a place where veterans stay that need help. So please vote yes for Chalice.
Devin Finson, and after Devin, Gilbert Vasquez Sr.
My name is Devin Finson, the Director of Partnerships for the San Bernardino County Fair. Work for a lot of different organizations up here through the county fair. One that stood out the most is a gentleman, Eric Edmondson. He couldn't make it today. I'm speaking on his behalf. He's a franchise business consultant for 14 different High Desert AM, PMs, and ARCOs. Eric Edmondson, 19420 Seneca Road, Apple Valley. Any event brought to our High Desert communities is an economic gain. The High Desert Event Center brings many quality programs to our area. Each and every event directly impacts the city of Victorville. Gas stations, restaurant, hotels depend on these events. Because of these events, many local businesses support the fairgrounds. The particular Chalice event brings quality music, arts, and artists to Victorville residents to attend. If the business plans to disrupt in any way, it directly impacts the entire community. Less people attend, less economic impact. These events are put together with thought and planning by the event organizers. They want a safe, successful event so they can promote and bring more other events to the Victor Valley. Please allow this event to go on as planned by issuing the necessary permits. People are finally coming up the hill to spend money here, not the other way around. Thank you.
I had asked for you to refrain from clapping until everyone got through speaking, so I don't want to keep repeating myself. Thank you. Gilbert Vasquez Sr., and then
a lot
after...
was already said, and the only thing I have to say is I'm in favor of this event.
Thank you. Jamie Nardoni, and after Jamie, Jessica Herden.
Hello, my name is Jamie, and I'm a local business owner up here in the High Desert. I actually want to talk to you guys more about being a resident. When you walk around Victorville, it is not, when you drive around, because we don't walk around Victorville, it's not really looking on the up and up. You guys, we have schools closing, we have homeless walking around with baby carts now because we don't want them to have the shopping carts. And I realize that Chalice is not going to fix our homeless problem, but Chalice is safe. The scariest thing about Chalice is the residents of Victorville. Thank you.
Jessica Herden, and then Jonathan Hunt.
Hello, my name is Jessica Herndon. I'm here not as a business owner tonight, but as a lifelong resident of Victorville and as a medical marijuana patient. I have epilepsy. I am in full support of Chalice. It gives me a great opportunity and a platform to speak with people about other options for their medical condition, for other items that they can use, things that they can have. Chalice is a huge advantage for this town. I'm 30 years old. I've lived here my entire life, and I plan on doing that. And the support of this event is big. Thank you.
Jonathan Hunt, and then Michelle Fuentes.
Good evening, and thank you for reconsidering this evening's vote. I came here with a huge agenda to speak to you all, and then it's obviously translated into everybody having the same idea. So what I'd like to show you is who works for us. Would you guys please stand up?
Sir, you have to direct.
Okay, I'm sorry.
to
These are all the
council.
people that work for one company that are all affected, and this is about 1/3 of our employees. I just want to show you the lives that get affected. These are the faces of the people that pay taxes in the city, in the high desert, and they'd like to continue working. Thank you.
Michelle Fuentes, and after Michelle, Maggie Martin.
Hi, good evening. My name is Michelle Fuentes. I am the property manager with Hotel Extended Studio. I do want to state this. I understand that Chalice is not everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that. However, money is everybody's cup of tea, and this Chalice Festival will bring huge revenue. My hotel alone did 4 times better than it did the year before. I have people coming from Germany, Brazil, from Australia, partly vendors, partly goers, and this is all tourist stuff that I know that the desert needs. Tourist people, Route 66, this all goes hand in hand. Chalice Festival should continue. It brings huge revenue, not only to the vendors, to the people of the desert, but hotels as well, and we are a very big hotel city. Thank you. Have a good day.
Maggie Martin, and after Maggie, Art Rico.
Good evening, Your Honor, Counsel. Boy, I wasn't really going to say much, and I'm really not. I'm just going to say that, first of all, I heard a lot of things already said. I'm appalled by Mayor Kerr coming to this council and saying what he said. That just blows my mind. And I hope this council has, and I promised Ryan and Steve I'd be gentle. So they're nice people. These people are good people. They're nice people. But I hope this council, I know this council has the wisdom and farsightedness enough to see below the surface gains here. Meaning, I'm telling you, once you let it happen once, you're going to set a precedent, and it will be a legal precedent somewhere along that line. So we already have an established policy in the city of Victorville, and I'm asking this council to please hold that line. Just say no. Thank you.
Art Rico, and after Art, David Placencia.
Hello. David left already, so he's going to defer his time to Steve Clayton. We own a business up in 7th Street. We also have another business as a janitorial service. We hire about 30 people to do the sanitation for Chalice. I think we have bigger problems in this city. Chalice is not a problem, but we do have real problems. Us owning a business on 7th Street, we get homeless, they break our windows, they break into the gate, they break our cars, they steal our tools. That's a real problem that we need to focus on. Chalice brings money, they bring jobs. My people, I don't know what's going to happen, so I don't know if we're going to have to hire them, or what do I tell them? I got people coming from down the hill just so they can work for that weekend. I invested money the last 2 years, and hopefully I can make my money back on this year's event. I don't know what's going to happen. Just please consider this event. Focus on the real problems. Homeless people are a problem. We lost a lot of money already in the last year. Thank you.
David Placencia, and after David, Jose Rosales. David's not here. Jose Rosales? No. I can make out the first name, but it's A.U. something Rico. Is he here? No? Same person, Jose Rosales. I don't know. Somebody's filling out cards for people. Jake Coops. Jake here. No. Priscilla Reisner. No. Brian Sweeney. Diana Emeralda. Your name?
It's Brian Swinney.
Okay, go ahead.
This event is not just about potheads getting together. This is about a community that's been stuck in the shadows for a very long time. The people voted in California to come out of the shadows with this. There's people from all districts and all parts of life who participate in this and are a part of this community. I just wish you'd take that into consideration. Thank you.
Jeff Hines.
Madam Mayor, esteemed City Council, residents of the City of Victorville, I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I'm here not to support any particular event, but to focus on the guidelines that the San Bernardino County Fair has focused on for the production of safe and successful events for the past several years. Our board of directors is united, and if they're behind me, if they would please stand and show their support of all events that meet our stringent criteria. Our board has set a policy that events at the fairgrounds need to be legal, safe, financially viable, and that we need to address the community impact and analyze the community impact. The events that we produce at the fairgrounds are safe. They are legal. They provide tremendous financial support, and they have tremendous community impact. We urge you tonight to support events that we have and to work with us on common sense guidelines moving forward on events that can provide substantial and significant community benefit and economic stimulus to this community and our entire High Desert region. Thank you.
Wesley Kentnar.
I'm sorry, I missed my...
Yeah, I'll call you later. Wesley Kentnar, and then after Wesley, Brian Sweeney.
Madam Mayor, esteemed council, I come to you again thanking you for the opportunity to speak in regards to this event. It was stated on June 5th at the council meeting that no one saw any hotels being sold out for this event for the weekend of the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. I've been sold out since January, I think 23rd. Looking right now online, the Hilton Garden Inn's already sold out. The Comfort Suites is already sold out. La Quinta selling rooms at $160. Studio 6 in Apple Valley selling room for $209. My revenue this year alone for the hotel is up 30% for the weekend from last year. From when we first opened, we are up 228%, I believe is what it was. And that's just the rooms, not including the food. This is our biggest money-making weekend of all the entire year. So you're taking not only from the hotel owners, but our employees who receive tips. And I've had almost every single server that works for me ask and beg me to speak at these events. Like I said, it's not a personal choice. I'm not for cannabis personally, but for this event, looking at the economic impact and the viability for the employees, it is necessary. Thank you.
Brian Sweeney, and after Brian, Guillermo, ST something. Brian Sweeney.
I'm just here to speak on behalf of Chalice and the $33 million impact it has on the city. The city council, why would you guys turn down that money? That's all I got to say. I live here and the city ain't that great. As everybody said, you can't walk down the street. I'd walk down the street with my kids if I could, but can't come up there without having somebody try to rob you. You know, I live right here off of 7th, but, you know, I probably voted for some of you guys, and you know, when it comes next time to vote, I'm pretty sure this is coming out in the news or somebody's going to vote. You know, you guys are turning away $33 million. That's not quite smart. Thank you.
Guillermo, STOPA, it looks like. Is Guillermo here? Oh, that was you? Okay. Jim Montes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jem Montes. I'm the Director of Inland Empire Normal and also the CEO of Culturati Concepts. Inland Empire Normal has been a chapter for about 2 or 3 years now. Normal is over 45 years old and we've been advocating for responsible policy. I am for the event. I would probably attend in most cases. If this is about revenue and access, let's completely open up Victorville so we can make the revenue needed and provide safe access to meds for everybody and make it a year-round thing. I think we should have taken this into consideration, that this was going to be coming down the pipeline when we instituted that. So now we're going to decide, now we're going to change our mind because somebody is waving a paper in front of us that says $33 million. By the way, there are no checks and balances at this event. I'd like to see third-party information that does that so that you could secure both parties' interests. That's what needs to happen. I'm concerned that even if you permit the event at the local level, that the BCC may not issue a level. I do feel strongly that the issue should have been addressed long ago, before vendors were solicited.
Your time is
However,
up.
this is where we are now. Compliance has changed, and I recommend you consider all of your options. Thank you.
Diana Emeralda.
Hello, my name is Diana. I'm secretary on the board for the High Desert Cannabis Association. I have sent so many emails to this council about cannabis, about how to regulate it. I have also sent emails, yes, I have, about 6 of them, to you personally, and you, and I'd just like to say that you should be regulating cannabis for everybody. Everybody in this city, everyone in the high desert, 365 days a year, should be having safe and reasonable access to cannabis. We have spoken with the BCC, and if you let this Chalice event go on, and even if you don't, we're going to start pushing the issue, and we are going to start opening up cannabis businesses in Victorville with the support of the BCC, because when you don't support reasonable access and reasonable regulation, you create a black market. And the illicit market is thriving well in Victorville, and you're not getting any of those tax revenues,
Your time is up.
365 days a year.
Thank you. Okay, I have Stephen Clayton and Art Rico, David Placencia, all these people that I had called before evidently gave up their time to speak to Steve Clayton. So is Steve here? Yeah, they should go to the clerk.
About the same what's up there.
Not at this time, we can't take them.
They didn't want one.
No.
They are part of the public record.
I appreciate the time to talk. My name is Steve Clayton. I'm one of the co-executive producers of Chalice, and I appreciate the people that gave up their time to me today to give me some extra time. The booklets that you have today are over 400 pages of content on how safe the event is, and how the event is a benefit to the local economy. Next slide. Can't really see this here. Unfortunately, well, I'll read. Chalice is a global recognized brand, festival brand. Attendees come from all over. In the 253-page double-sided 10-point font booklet that I provided, you'll see that there are attendees from Tahiti, Japan, Great Britain, Barcelona, Paris, France, 186 of them from Texas, 60 from Connecticut, 225 from New York, and over 300 from Florida. And that's on one weekend. Do you guys understand the power of this in your city? You know, this is it's a great opportunity for everyone. Next slide, please. Chelsea's growth over 4 years started at 8,000, almost to 35,000 now, and who knows where it will go. Next slide. The economic impact to taxable revenue is estimated at $30 million locally, estimated 13,500 hotel rooms. I believe there was a statement by Mr. Metzler about 4,000 rooms. That is only in the Victorville actual city area. There are 27 other hotels surrounding that also benefit from this, and you're not considering the week prior and about 3 days after the event, where about 300 staff stay. Costco is sold out of ice and bottled water. McDonald's is sold out of everything except McMuffins. We employ about 70 local people directly from local labor pools that are underemployed that will definitely be affected. Next slide, please. This slide, you'll see the side-by-side screenshot comparison of Motel 6 in Apple Valley on a non-Chalice weekend at $140 and a Motel 6 Apple Valley on Chalice weekend, $426. You can't argue the facts here. Next slide, please. We're lawful. We have not had any arrests in the past 4 years, not just 2 years here, 2 years prior in San Bernardino. We work in conjunction with the police department. You'll see in the booklet that we have already worked and met with the local sheriff and have come to reasonable terms for them to service our event this year. We have a signed agreement that we will be moving forward with their services. Safety is our priority. No hospitalizations. We give our food, extra food to local food banks. We encourage ride shares. This is a good event, and just because it has a cannabis undertone, don't let it fool you. Next slide, please. This is the, according to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department workload report, annual workload report in 2016. Citywide calls, Chalice calls per day. Next slide, please. 2017, a slight increase, but we had more attendees. Next slide. And that is within a half-mile radius, not only on site. Per capita Chalice calls for service. You'll notice that the Chalice versus the city, as the population on the left grows up with an increase of 30,000 plus people in the grounds, our calls for service are smaller. Next slide, please. Chalice calls for service per officer. On average, an officer in Victorville takes about 5.9 calls per day. At Chalice, we hire 25 plus officers, whatever is needed. Let me rephrase that. We will hire whatever is needed, whatever makes sense to you. And the per officer average over the last 2 years is 1 call. This is a safe event. Next slide, please. I don't need to go into me or Ryan or why, where we came from or what we do. What we implore you is that this event, it brings in revenue to your local businesses and citizens. You'll be taking that away. In a year where you're increasing taxes for services, $6, $7, it doesn't matter, but you're increasing taxes on services. Now you're also taking something away that is existing. It's existed for the last 2 years. It's just now become legal enough that you can actually make taxable revenue on the sale. So don't hide behind the safety. The statistics are there. You pick another day. Why, pick another weekend. There's more calls in Victorville for service than there are on Chalice weekends. That's a fact. Look it up. You can't hide behind that there's more there's calls. So if it's not calls, why are we turning away $1 of taxable revenue to the city when you're raising taxes? We want to work with you and make safe, conscious decisions together. We want to create the framework. If it means hiring 2 extra guards, if it means developing an analytic program to study the economic benefits for next year, whatever it is, we want to work with you and make the communication. I'd like to answer any questions. I know that that might not be the case, but if the council changes and opens that up to questions, please ask me. We implore you to vote to sign the letter of acknowledgement. And I should say lastly, that the letter of acknowledgement for this event does not, I repeat, does not mean that you have to change your local ordinance on commercial cannabis. It is on state property, and all you are saying is that you acknowledge that this event is taking place. You do not have to change, and I ask the city attorney, you do not have to change your local ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one other card. Thomas Migliorelli.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to make this happen. Thomas Migliorelli, recent resident of the High Desert by way of New York. I came out here to help grow this wonderful community, and it's been very good to me, actually. The only thing I think really want is for you to say no to ignorance, no to years of misinformation, and just no to just fear-mongering. Thank you. Have a great night.
Those are all the speaker cards that I have. At this time, is there any discussion by council members?
Just one thing. Because we are in pending litigation, we were advised by our city council not to make any comments.
Are we going to have a staff report? Yes. I don't know who has read the staff report. The staff report is a public document. I'd like to hear the staff cover that, if that's possible, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Madam Mayor and members of the council, staff has put together in response to the request by the council to provide this audience for members of the public to speak. And this staff report, I think, outlines in large part certainly the history that's got us to today, which involves everything from the public approving marijuana for use in the state of California, the eventual adoption of Senate Bill 94, which established effectively the BCC, which served as an entity to establish the regulations as to how the use and sale and consumption and cultivation and all that goes into what was approved by the voters. And resulting from the formation of the BCC, certainly cities had the opportunity before January 1st to decide how it was going to address all forms of use of cannabis, whether it was consumption, sale, manufacture, cultivation. And this council did that and spent a considerable amount of time before January 1st of this year, both at the Planning Commission level and at this council level, eventually adopting the ordinance, which is your current local law advising on how cannabis is to be regulated in the city of Victorville, and very specifically in Victorville's case, Victorville's code takes a very narrow approach to the allowance for cannabis use, and in fact the approval or the law that we have basically enables the resident to grow the allowed 6 plants inside their residence, and also allows for the transportation through our city streets for medicinal purposes, the delivery of cannabis, and that's effectively it in Victorville. Also, with the SB 54 and the rules that were established by the BCC, and a little bit different than the tradition in which the fairgrounds has operated in Victorville. The San Bernardino County Fairgrounds, as all fairgrounds throughout the state, effectively preempt any local authority as to activity that occurs within their state property. That's something we've gotten used to. I think that's something all cities have gotten used to. So effectively, like other businesses that attempt to do business or operate in Victorville that would come to our city asking for a permit, whether it's a CUP or a site plan approval, that's not the case in the fairgrounds. So they are used to having events on their own. They do contract with local sheriff to make sure that there is adequate safety. And in fact, that's the same preemption that the San Bernardino County Fairgrounds has enjoyed and relied on the last 2 years that has enabled the Chalice event to occur. As we are sitting here today listening to the testimony, really the focus of the issue and why the San Bernardino County Fairground, along with the event organizer, are here is because the BCC imposed something different than the tradition, which is the BCC as a part of any application to undertake at an event hosted on a county fairground, where there is a proposal to undertake sale and consumption of cannabis. There is a special permit process required, a permit process that they manage, administer, but also in their reach out to affected entities, the cities being the local entities, they also require a consent by the local agency to allow for the sale and the consumption to occur in connection with the event. And that's effectively what this item is about today. The audience, the fairgrounds, the organizer is coming to you asking that you issue that letter authorizing the sale and consumption of marijuana at this event as it's planned. It's our understanding that notwithstanding the letter, if you approve it, the event will go forward, but it's also our understanding very clearly that just as the event has occurred over the last 2 years, even if you don't issue the letter for reasons of your own, that the event will still go on. It will just go on without the sale and the consumption of cannabis. So that's really the focus of the issue. I know there's a lot of testimony that we've heard today that seems to suggest that absent your consent of this letter for the sale and consumption of cannabis on site, that the event is going to go away and that you're not going to be enjoying all of the financial benefits. We don't believe that to be the case as staff. We've also taken an amount of time in the staff report, which is articulated before you, identifying the history of our conversations with the fairground staff over time, the meetings that we've had, the advice that we've given them. We've certainly raised the issue of the code as recently adopted by the council. That's your existing law, and effectively, despite their opinions, it's our opinion that certainly it is your governing law, and to do anything that deviates that, you would be required to amend your or change your ordinance. We've certainly identified and addressed, because Councilmember Cox did ask and ask us to look at the numbers. We did look at their economic impact. Certainly the number is being thrown around of 36 million. I heard a number in the billions today, but at least off of the documentation that we got in our review of it, there's certainly a number of inputs in that model that we question. But at the same time, when we reviewed the model concerning ourselves over the benefit to Victorville and no other community, because Victorville is what our focus is. Beyond that, there's some safety discussion in there. I'm aware that they have worked with PD just over the last 24 hours, and they do have a contract to have sheriff presence at the event to ensure safety. But as I've said before, absent the letter that they're requesting, Whether or not you issue the letter, all indications are, just as it has in the past, the event will go forward.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Sure.
If we're going to have more comment, can we please?
I'm an event photographer, and I photograph a lot of events. Recently, San Bernardino denied a permit for High Times, and that was a ghost town. There was no revenue made off that. The event still happened, but there was nobody there. And if you guys deny this permit, same thing is going to happen to Chalice. Nobody's going to be there. Thank you.
Hello, Ryan Heil. I'm the other co-executive producer. Just to clarify the impact of the decision made here this evening, the inability to secure a permit has put on hold over $1.1 million of confirmed contracts we had with exhibitors to the festival who will not attend the festival and therefore fund it if they do not have the ability to participate in the retail sales as Prop 64 outlined. So the impact of not securing the approval is real. The amount of money we have to spend on the event is significantly diminished by 60% or more, and that is the economic impact that every single person in this community will feel effective immediately if we cannot secure that approval. The impact is very, very real and measurable. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I just want to recap on what our photographer had said over there. I was at the NOS Center for High Times event of a food vendor. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a ghost town. Nobody made money. Food vendors were highly upset. I mean, and it wasn't a pleasant sight at all, especially when, you know, being a food vendor or any other type of vendor, you know, we come out of pocket a significant amount of money just to do these events, and then your payroll on top of that, and your product on top of all that. You know, if you don't make the money back plus a profit to keep living, you know, it gets to be tough. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council. I'd like to speak a little bit about what these last gentlemen were saying about the revenue and how the city of San Bernardino did block the sale of cannabis at that High Times event. And I did not go personally because I'm a medical patient. I have multiple ectotosis and chondroma, which is a bone deformity that I've had since I was a very young man, since I was 5 years old. Since my dad was able to walk and teach me how to grow, I've been dealing with this. I've had tumors removed. And this community and the way that it's been disrespected as of late because of the fact that people have a misconception about what cannabis is about, and the fact that people don't want to go because of just the music alone, which I would love to support and everything, but the main, I think, concept of what these cannabis festivals are about, to celebrate how far we've come as people to celebrate something that we deem as safe, at least enough for adult consumption. I'm 22 years old. I understand I still have a lot to grow and see in this world and understand about what's still going on. I know there's a lot of things that still need to be hashed out, but I feel and appreciate the fact that at least I'm here being able to talk to you guys. And you give me your time so we can have a dialogue about this stuff, because I feel like a lot of times people just get shut out and people don't listen. And as a young man speaking to you people, as I know I'm going to be the future, I have very much to learn, but I'm very involved in this cannabis community. I don't think it's something like, ooh, let's get party, let's have a lot of fun.
Your time is up.
But I do appreciate your consideration for
Your
what I'm
time
about to
is
say.
up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, esteemed City Council, City staff, and Victorville residents, I want to address a couple of items. I read the staff report provided by Mr. Metzler and the city staff, and there's a couple things I wanted to make sure we provided. The San Bernardino County Fair Board staff, or Fair Board and staff, has reached out to the City Council, not since just January, but going back to August of 2016, and we've invited you to attend these events, not because we want to make choices in a vacuum. We want to provide safe, legal, financially viable, community beneficial events on the fairgrounds because we live in this community too. This is our home. It does not behoove us to create a circumstance where we damage our city, your city, and the city of the residents. I think you've heard the will of the people that have come out to speak tonight, and I think they agree. These events are legal, they are safe, they are financially viable, and they have tremendous community impact. And I urge you to work with us, work with the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino County Fair, and come up with some common sense and reasonable guidelines for events moving forward. Not just the event we're specifically talking about tonight, but all events. And we endeavor to do that with you tonight and forever.
Thank you. That's all the cards now that I have, and if there's nothing else to be discussed.
If I might, Mayor Garcia, I just wanted to point out, too, that right now, as you are aware, the operators of the Chalice have filed suit against the Bureau of Cannabis Control, and the hope is that they get a writ and require the state to relax its requirement. To the extent that happens, then I think the event could happen the same way it has happened in the past, but right now, without that occurring, so to the extent they're successful with that litigation, then that would allow for the event to go forward on the basis of sovereignty.
Thank you. So at this time, do we need a motion, or there's nothing that?
I'm not sure. Our hands are tied to some extent by our municipal code. We would be in violation of our municipal code. So hopefully, if they have success with the state, then I think that's where the issue lies right now.
I'm just curious, is there something written on that?
Yeah, it says remove Kennedy and Negretti, November 28th.
Oh, no.
Vote them out.
So I did want to take the opportunity to make a motion to instruct the planning commissioners to regulate cannabis as soon as possible. So when we have events or anything of this nature to come forth, we don't apprehend or we don't lose the things that we can possibly have, and that's going to be my motion for the cannabis community.
Would it be perhaps a motion for the Planning Commission to consider the issue again?
Absolutely.
Are you okay with demanding it that way?
Yes.
Okay.
I am going to second it, although I may not vote for it because I want a clarification. Is this for the Planning Commission to reconsider the ordinance, Planning Commission to reconsider allowing activities at the fairground, or for the Planning Commission to consider the ordinance that affects the whole city?
I would defer to Councilmember Gomez, but I assume it is to reconsider the ordinance that is currently in place on the books. I know the Planning Commission's previously been down this, so it's up to you if you want to have the Planning Commission look at it one more time.
That was my motion. That was the intent of it, to bring it forth.
I didn't understand exactly what it was.
The motion essentially is to have the Planning Commission reconsider and relook at the existing ordinance that's on the books.
Oh, okay.
The whole ordinance as it exists?
Correct. Ordinance, I think it's 2367.
I withdraw my second.
Is there a second? There being no second, the motion dies.
I know. Thank you.
Okay. Now I will continue. Now I'm moving on to public comments, and I do have some cards for public comment.
Public comments, is this the same thing?
Well, no, this
Okay.
was for them to do their presentation. Now we have public comment. Maggie Martin, you are first, and after Maggie Martin, Lionel Bennett.
Good evening again, Your Honor and Council. I had delivered a letter to the council, four of the council members, the mayor and three of the council members on, I believe it was Monday. I'm going to read this letter that I wrote. Dear Mayor Garcia, Mayor Pro Tem Cox, council members Negretti and Kennedy, since Ms. Blanca Gomez came onto this council in December 2016, she has committed nothing less than one faux pas or serious offense after another, best expressed previously by Councilman Negretti's statement that she had, quote, gone beyond the pale. I'm confident that I don't have to rehash the particulars with this council. We've all been there, we've all seen it, and we've all heard it. As you all know, the last straw was over the video of Mayor Russ Blewett's funeral. It is crystal clear to me that no matter how she has been verbally chastised by both the council and the public at large, she has no intentions whatsoever of ceasing her inappropriate behavior or comments, as evidenced in her council member comments at the conclusion of the last council meeting, June 19th. Notwithstanding the fact that I am one of the registered voters who signed the documents for the recall, I am asking the following of my own accord. Would this council please formally... Did she call my time?
I will have... She has 3 minutes. This is I will have you removed if you don't settle down. I will have you removed.
This is public comments, not public hearing portion. Public comments are 3 minutes. I will continue. Thank you. Last paragraph. Bear with me over here on the left. Got to be heard over here. Would this council please formally consider... Thank you, Deputy.
Have her removed, please.
I'll wait. I'll enjoy this moment. Let me continue, if it pleases the council. Would this council please formally consider imposing heavy sanctions, not just censure upon Ms. Blanca Gomez? I'm asking that you consult with the city attorney, Mr. Andre Bornowski, to see what legal options are available. And I'm asking that the council exhaust any and all options available to you. The people have had enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lionel Bennett. And you do have 3 minutes.
My name is Linnell Bennett, and I'm speaking to you on behalf of the Green Tree Golf Course, Victorville Golf Course. Closing the golf course is going to cause property values to decrease. The owners around the golf course who we've spoken to will be contacting the county assessor to have our homes reassessed, which is going to make loose money for your fire, for your police, for the city. There's health and safety reasons, too, that we need to have this golf course stay open. The grass is going to die, the dirt's going to flow into our homes, not to mention the fire hazards. The homeless people are going to be living on the golf course area. People's safety is at risk on this. You all are spending a lot of money on a skate park and also on redoing 7th Street. I don't understand why you don't want to keep the golf course going. On top of that, you have to still pay the golf course workers for the next year. Why not allow them to stay on the golf course and work? I'm asking the council to please put on the agenda for July 17th the reconsideration of funding the golf course. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chuck Abila.
Thank you. Oops. I'd like to talk about the golf course also. Lived there for 25 years now, and I don't golf. I haven't golfed in 10, 15 years. And I'd just like to bring up a couple of issues that the council would really consider. Again, the fire hazard is one of our main concerns. If it's allowed to die and the trees are dying, what about the liability? There's a lot of trees that are right close to the homes. These trees could fall over, branches could damage the homes and things like that. And I know for a fact that a lot of these fairways, they're landlocked, and if there is a fire in one of them, how is the fire department going to be able to, to get their equipment in there? And so the property values are going to also drop. And has the city council, do they know the impact that the devaluation on the homes are going to have concerning, law enforcement, fire department, and schools, as well as your guys' budget? So I just hope you take that into consideration. And then we have a real problem in our area with illegal dumping. And so I'm afraid that's going to become a real problem. So I just ask that everybody on the council, if you'd please all just come together and continue funding our golf course, okay? I think it's a real asset to this city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, those are
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a comment, please.
I'm
You
sorry.
could just give me 1 minute.
No, you need a card. You need
Yes,
a
ma'am.
card. Please, go fill
My
out a
name
card.
is already on the card, and I was asking if I could speak to you guys. I'm not coming at you guys rudely or disrespectfully at all. What I'm coming to you guys about is I'm in the Riverside County. Now, if we were to look at this letter and just reconsider the letter that is right here,
Ma'am,
just listen, please.
You are being disrespectful, and you're
No,
not
I'm not.
following our
I'm-
guidelines.
I have my name already
I'm
on
gonna
the
be calling
card.
the next person.
Ma'am,
And-
I already have my thing
Don't
on there.
stop. I will have you removed.
Okay.
Jessica
Well, I'm going to let you know
Skinner.
that the Riverside County is going to be opening up a case against you
Deputy.
guys. Thank you.
Jessica Skinner. We have to keep order.
Honestly, I can't believe with all the problems you have in your city, your biggest concern is what Chalice is doing with smoking marijuana. With opiate addiction, crack addiction, the meth heads I've seen since I've moved to California from Florida, it's ridiculous and disgusting. You can continue to waste your time and our money because trust and believe that High Times was a joke. It will continue to be a joke. It's Doug pushing for us. It's Chalice pushing for us. It's Kush Stock pushing for us. LA Kush. And you guys can keep your heads in the sand and stay broke. Keep your city broke. Keep your people broken. Because we'll find a home in Apple Valley. We'll find a home out in Adelanto. We'll build a home if we can't find one. And I hope you lose every single time we do it.
That concludes all the cards that, speaker cards that we had. So we don't have anything else on our agenda at
I'd
this
like
time.
to make a comment.
We do need to reconvene into the closed session on items B and C briefly.
Okay.
But I believe there's council member comments that,
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, go ahead, Jim.
Chalice has occurred in the past without the city council's approval or even requesting it. I assume that there's a change in law that the state is now saying the city council must approve it before they'll issue the permit. I think we spent months and had a lot of meetings, and the ordinance that we have, as it applies to the whole city, should stay in the way it is. As far as the fairgrounds, if the board of the fairgrounds wants to have an event and they want to provide the police protection and they have the approval of the state, I believe that we ought to be directly negotiating with the state to find how they can do that without coming to this city, because they have made it clear that they don't have to listen to the city in the past. They have not done so. We have had some good relationships, but nevertheless, they put on the event they want to. But because of a quirk or new rule or something, for this kind of an event only, they need the city's approval. My understanding is if they put on the same kind of events that they put in the past, they don't need our approval. The only reason different is the sale of marijuana. We've addressed that many, many times over and over. For the individuals who need medical marijuana, it's perfectly legal. They can get it. The ordinance provides it. And is there a way? The reason I withdrew the second is because after spending the months that we did on the ordinance and the public hearings, I don't see any need to revisit it. But if there is a way that we can work with the state, or the attorney or the staff can work with the state, so that the state and the fairgrounds, because they claim sovereignty as a state entity, can work it out and leave us out of it, I'm all for it.
you are correct. This is a new requirement from the state under the Business and Professions Code. I think it was promoted by the Bureau of Cannabis Control. As I mentioned previously, the promoters have challenged the Bureau of Cannabis Control. They have a writ pending, and to the extent they are successful, then again the permit requirement would go away, the authorization requirement would go away, and again I assume that Chalice could hold the event the same they have in the past. But this is a new state requirement that I think everybody, with respect to Chalice, has been aware of since the beginning of the year.
So this is a new state requirement, not our state requirement, not our requirement.
That is correct.
And so the change that needs to be made is not our ordinance, but it's state.
that would be the appropriate place to make the change, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I hope everyone understands that. Anyone else?
So I wanted to let the public know that I attended 4 days the Phoenix, Arizona National Association of Latino Elected Officials and Appointed Officials. And the learning experience was networking with anyone and everyone from New York, Wisconsin, Indiana. And it was very interesting to understand that there's a large group of individuals who hold together and empower the people who we are representing at this domain. So it was an honor. It was out of my pocket, so that was very interesting. So I got to experiment and fly out there and sleep sometimes in the car, right, to be able to go to that fancy resort and be a part of learning more what it is to represent a group of people such as yourselves. It's not an easy task. I did a lot of networking. I got a lot of connections outside of the state, which is always really interesting. When I have any questions, now I have my go-to team. It was my first year, and I'll be going next year to Miami, Florida, which will be another exciting event. So I wanted to let everyone know about that. In regards to the over 2,000 children who were separated from their family, you know, it was very disheartening to realize that there was absolutely no way to return any child back to their parent because there was nothing that led, whether it was a picture or any kind of receipt, to return these children, immigrant children, with their parents. So that was very distraught. We worked a lot on those issues as well, understanding how we can come together. And this is not just an issue that happens maybe locally, but it also happens nationally. And so I wanted to share a little bit of what I was learning. And that's all I have to share for the night. Thank you.
So again, Mayor Garcia, if we can go into closed session on items B and C, and to the extent there's reportable action, we will report it at the conclusion of the closed session.
Very well. We will now recess to our closed session.